it's your girl Drea back with another video. If you are new here, welcome. If not, welcome back, y'all. So as you can tell by the title, I have a story time for you guys. Happy Vlogtober. I am, of course, going to be doing story times this month. So I'm going to be giving you guys a story time every day for the month of October. Hey. So make sure you guys are liking, sharing, goodness gracious, liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing, all that good stuff. Get your girl to 2K, all right? And if I'm not already at 2K, I don't think I will be. I am bulk recording this right now and recording this ahead of time. So just so y'all know, y'all going to see me in this Little Red Riding Hood outfit more than once. I have a few costumes, but I think I'm going to do 3 videos in the same costume, okay? So if you see me in this costume 2 more times, that is because don't nobody have 31 costumes, okay? At least not me, or I'm not doing all that. But I am going to dress up for y'all. I've actually seen a few YouTubers do this who also do story times. So I was like, oh, I want to try that this year. And I love dressing up, and I have a bunch of costumes just like that built up over the years. So I'm gonna be Little Red Riding Hood in this video. And hold on, this look a little crooked. I don't know, it's been years since I wore this, y'all. So but I'm gonna be Little Red Riding Hood for this video. And as you can tell by the title, I'm gonna be telling you guys how I lost my virginity at 13 years old. And I told my mom, y'all. So I don't have any like scary stories to tell you guys because, you know, it's Halloween. I really don't have any scary stories. But if we're being honest, me as a 13-year-old girl telling my mother I lost my virginity is pretty darn scary. All right. So we're going to start Vlogtober off with this story time, and I chose the Little Red Riding costume for this story time just because Little Red Riding Hood, she's just like so innocent, you know what I'm saying? So this was me being so innocent until I wasn't. Yeah, until I wasn't. But all right, so let's get into this story, guys. Let's just say I had a lot of fast tail friends. All right, they was all fast. All of them done lost their virginity early in like 6th grade type thing. So I'm not gonna lie, by the time I got to the 8th grade, I'm just like, dang, I'm the only friend who still has their virginity. And y'all, this is like really sad for if you really think about it, because this is like, dang girl, 8th grade. But yes, y'all, 8th grade. Basically, sorry, I keep trying to fix my hood. I feel like my head is so big. But literally 8th grade, my friends no longer had their virginity. Y'all, it was wild. So, of course, I'm just looking like, dang, like, I'm the only one with my virginity, which it wasn't a bad thing, of course, but I'm just like, dang, I just feel like I'm the only one, and I just didn't want it anymore. I know. I didn't want it anymore, y'all. So, y'all knew I grew up in a strict household, okay? So, I wasn't really, it was hard for me to even do things, you know what I'm saying? Let alone do stuff like that. And be around boys, that is a no-no. So, like I said, my mom, she worked late. Not late, but, you know, we got home from school before she got off of work. Cool. And we used to be allowed to, like, play around the neighborhood and all that other stuff. So, I just remember I wanted to lose it so bad. And I wasn't really thinking about who I wanted to lose it to, because let me just tell you something. In 8th grade, I wasn't really, I don't want to say I wasn't cute, but I just wasn't all the way put together. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like I didn't, not that I didn't care about my parents, but I didn't really put too much effort into it. So, yeah. Anyway, of course, like guys, I've always liked guys. I always had crushes, but no guys were ever really interested in me until I got to 9th grade. All right, 9th grade. So here I am in 8th grade, and this is like towards the end of 8th grade. I remember there was this new girl who ended up coming, and she was like just so cool with everybody. You just meet that one girl who just like clicks with everybody. Like it doesn't matter like who you are and what like friend group you're in. She just like clicks with everybody. So me and her ended up getting cool. She had one of those parents that let them do whatever. So I don't know. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of cling to her. But also with having that parent that lets you do whatever, she was fast. And not saying that parents that let you do whatever, their kids are always fast, because that's not true. But let's just face it, the parents who let their kids pretty much do whatever, they're literally out here doing whatever, which is means also sleeping around and losing their virginity in 6th grade. So when she came, I'm hanging around her, and not that I was trying to be like her, but I guess in a way I kind of was. If you think about it, I'm like, dang, she lost her virginity and she's so cool, and her mom lets her do this, and these guys like her, and she has a boyfriend, and yeah, and not to mention I was 8th grade, like I was bigger. Like I've always been like a thicker girl, but I was very shapely, very curvy, I look good. Well, I ain't gonna say I look good. I feel like I looked good more going into 9th grade, and that's because I really started doing sports and, you know, really started working my body and all that good stuff. But in 8th grade, I feel like I was just still like that thicker, awkward girl that didn't have it all put together. Meanwhile, this girl who came to our school, she was a little bigger than I was. And it just sucks because I had that mentality like, dang, like how does she have a boyfriend? How does she have all those guys like her? And she's bigger. Like I always associated guys don't like girls when they're bigger. You know what I mean? And that's like so sad. But I mean, in a way it's kind of true, but not really true, because I'm bigger now. And I mean, shoot, I'd be having all type of guys trying to talk to me. But back then, you know, I'm 8th grade, those little high school boys was not thinking about my big self. But when she came and I seen she was bigger than me, I'm like, dang, they like her. She real cool. Like she got a nice personality. Now I will say, I felt like she was more put together with her appearance. And she always had like her eyebrows done and her hair was always done. And I never cared about like my eyebrows being done. Like your eyebrows is your eyebrows, like whatever God gave you. And you know, she just always looked real cute. I always like wore lip gloss. Like I wasn't wearing lip gloss. I didn't have my eyebrows done and stuff. And you know, my hair was however my mom did my hair, or you know, whatever. It's not like my mom sent me to school looking crazy. She sure didn't. But I'm just saying she just looked like real put together, more in the times of what people found appealing. I'll just say that. So I'm hanging out with her and I'm kind of seeing how she's doing things. So of course, once you see that and you want that attention, you kind of mimic what that person is doing. So I go ahead and I'm like, okay, let me just care about my appearance more. So, you know, I'm dressing a little different, and not really, I'm really dressing the same, but I don't know, like I'm just paying more attention to what I'm looking like, paying more attention to like the things I say. Cause I was also a shy girl, which is, I don't even know how I was hanging out with these girls who were just like fast and was doing whatever, but I don't know. I was always cool with everybody too. I was just more like on the shy side of things, and guys just really didn't like me until I got to high school. So anyway, y'all know how y'all got them guys in your school who would basically F anybody? I know, it's sad, but they would F anybody. And I don't know, there was like a good 5, 6 of them, whatever. So I remember the one guy, I started basically texting like 2 of them, you know, because they talk to anybody. And I wasn't an ugly girl, y'all. I wasn't. I was just always shy and I always had crushes, but never really thought about or talked to guys in that way before. I don't even think I ever really was texting a guy before, even like regular. So when it came to talking to guys, I always thought, okay, you're talk to guys and you have to talk to them in a sexual way because you have to give them sex. And it's so crazy I had this mentality, but that's literally the mentality I had. So I'm texting this one guy, and he don't even need a name. But anyway, so we're just, you know, I guess you can say sexting. And we're like, okay, let's meet up. Of course, You can't come to my house. I have siblings, and that's just a no-no. And not only that, but we had a sitter who at the time I believe was my granddad, who would sit with us after school but let us play outside. So that was like, you was not coming to my house. And I don't know what his situation was with his house, but he always seemed to be out and everywhere. So I feel like he had one of those parents who let them do whatever, but I wasn't going all the way to his house. Plus, how would I even, it would have just been too much to walk all the way there and back before my granddad being like, where's Andrea at? No, I would have been over. So we're like, oh yeah, let's meet up. And we basically went and met up behind like this abandoned building, y'all. I know, right? Met up behind this abandoned building. And at this point, like as I'm walking in to meet him, I'm like so nervous. But like I told you, a part of me just wanted to get it over with. And I didn't really care about anything being romantic. I didn't care about how my first time was going to be. I didn't care about none of that. I'm just like, I just want to lose it. But the other part of me was just like, I don't really want to lose it. I kind of do want to, you know, it to be with somebody I like at least. So I decided to link up with him behind this abandoned building. And I know this is going to sound crazy, y'all. But I allowed this boy, because we were kids, I allowed him to do anal. I know. For my very first time ever doing anything sexually, it was anal. I'm going to tell y'all why I did anal. First of all, it hurt. It hurt because we didn't know anything about lube. You know what I'm saying? I don't even remember if he even like got it wet. You know, I definitely wasn't like giving head or nothing because I just didn't know, like I knew what it was, but I've never done it before. And I'm like, I'm not about to give this dude head. You know what I mean? It was weird. So I didn't do that, but I just feel like when he put it in there, it just hurt because I don't know. I know this is so awkward to even tell y'all. It's a little awkward to even talk about, but yeah, just imagine me and I was 13 doing all this. So, and honestly, I don't know how y'all kids are. I don't know, not how y'all kids are, but I don't know how kids are today, but I feel like kids are losing it just sooner and sooner than 13. And I thought 13 was crazy. So I went ahead and I allowed him to do anal, and you know, I just waited till he was done. It wasn't long. It was pretty quick. And it was just so crazy. And then the party was just like, okay, cool. Like, and we sat and we talked for a minute. Like, it wasn't like on no super weird stuff because I was definitely nervous. But it kind of had to be quick because, like I said, I couldn't be gone for too long because my granddad would have been like, oh, where's Dre at? So, you know, we give each other hugs, say our goodbyes or whatever. And we're just like texting after that. Like, he was cool. You know, he was just one of them niggas. So I walked back down and the party was just like, oh my gosh, I just lost my virginity. But at the same time, did I? Because losing your virginity is doing it vaginally. Like, I don't know. What do y'all think? Do y'all think losing your virginity is vaginally because they say you're supposed to bleed? Or does anal count as losing your virginity? Y'all tell me. Because I don't know. So after I basically tell my friends about this, they was like, no, Drea, you did not lose your virginity because you didn't lose your virginity vaginally. And it's so crazy because after, like I said, it hurt while, you know, I was having intercourse. But after that, it just didn't hurt no more. And I think it's because maybe he was still a boy and maybe just wasn't fully developed, you know, wasn't as big as it could have been as like if you were a grown man, because I swear it didn't, like, nothing really hurt after that. Like, I went home, took a bath, for like everything was cool. But when I told my friends about it, they was like, yeah, no, girl, you did not lose your virginity. You have to do it vaginally in order to lose your virginity. And I was just like, oh my gosh, no, y'all, because I did it. And it was just like, no, girl, you didn't do nothing. So I'm just like, okay, whatever. And I'm not gonna lie, at this point, because all my friends were just doing it with just guys, multiple guys. So of course, me wanting to be like them, y'all do not be a follower, because there's different diseases out here, and it's even worse now. And I just wasn't thinking about none of that. Do you think any of these guys use protection? No, because they're doing it anally. Like, what do you need protection for? You know, that's like really how we thought. I mean, but can you blame us? We're in 8th grade. We don't really know shit. We think we do. We over here doing grown folk stuff, but we don't really know shit, you know? So at this point, I'm copying off what my friends is doing. So now I'm talking to the next guy, let him do it anally. And then the next guy, let him do it anally. Y'all, mind you, I'm in 8th grade. I'm 13. And I'm sneaking around doing all this crazy stuff. So, woo, y'all, this is crazy. This is bringing back hella sad memories. That's crazy. So, at this point, it's the end of the school year and summer is here. Now, the summertime, I was hanging around my big cousin a lot. She had moved to Arizona when we were kids, and it's crazy because it was my aunt who had like 6 kids, and each of her kids was like the same age as each one of my mom's kids. So it was like perfect. And then she had 3 older daughters who were older than me, I should say. 3 girls that were older than me, and then the rest of her kids were like the same age as the rest of me and my siblings. So the one of her older daughters had moved back to Pittsburgh because they had moved away to another state, and I didn't see them for years. But one of her older daughters had moved back to Pittsburgh and was going to school up here, college, and I was so excited, y'all. I was so excited. So she was going to college up there, and like I said, I was going into high school. It's the summer of me going into high school. So at this point, I'm grown. Or at least I think I'm grown. I think I am so grown. She was staying with her grandma. So my mom would always drop me off over there because her grandma is actually my younger sibling's grandmother as well. But of course, you know, when you grow up all together, she was basically my grandma too. So I would go over there and I would stay for like a couple weeks and then come back home, and then go back over there and stay for like a week and come back home. And I just loved being over there with her because it was freedom. However, my mom didn't like it. She always felt like I was up to something because, you know, my mom knows me so well. She does. She knows me so well. She knows Drea is always up to something. And at this point, after doing all that stuff with the guys at my school, I was now texting other guys who didn't go to my school, and, you know, just texting them, and started quote unquote dating this one guy who actually lived over by where my grandmother was staying. And of course, y'all already know I had to devise a plan. So my boyfriend at that time, like I said, he lived over by where my grandma lived. So I'm like, Mom, I want to go over there. And then I started also talking to this other guy. I forget where I met him at. Oh, probably on social media, y'all. Probably met him on social media. So now I'm talking to my boyfriend, and I'm talking to, okay, first of all, so my boyfriend, he was like my boyfriend, but I never met him in person. You know how those type of relationships go. I never met him in person, nothing. Like, I'm so young. At this point, I had turned 14. Towards the end of the school year, I had turned 14. So it's the summertime. I'm thinking I'm grown. I have a boyfriend who I've never met before, and I'm talking to this other guy who is now interested in me. And I'm like, oh yeah, he's cute and light skinned. This, yeah, all of that. I'm just being a little fast ass, basically. So now my mom drops me off at my grandma's house, and my cousin's there. And I remember she used to work at the movie theater down there, and I used to like go to the movies for free and all that. It was so fun. And then I used to like walk the whole, because she lived on like the busy part of the city. Well, what? No, y'all ain't gonna know what I'm talking about unless you're from Pittsburgh. But if you're from Pittsburgh, she lived on literally like the South Side Flats. All right, so you know, where all the bars and stuff are. And if you keep walking all the way down, they got the pool and the park and all that. So I'll be walking down to the park and I would just be everywhere while my cousin was at work. And then, of course, when she gets off work, I would meet her at work and would walk back to my grandma's house. So I just had like all the freedom out there. And my cousin will always tell me like, Annie, now don't be doing all this, all that, because you know how your mom is and your mom don't want you doing all this and that. And it's just like, girl, I hear you, big cousin, but you know I ain't finna listen to you. You know I'm not. And she knew that. She knew that because, never mind, I'm gonna say that for another story time. But anyway, so yeah, so I'm down there, I'm texting. At this point, I didn't know how to catch like the what do you call it? The PAT buses, the public buses, transportation buses or whatever. I never knew how to catch that because, well, I'm 14 and my mom just never let us catch the bus. Plus, where I lived, I grew up in the suburbs. We didn't really have buses all like that. Like we did, but it went to like the mall and like the community college and stuff like that. Like it didn't really go, I don't know. I just didn't know how to catch the bus. Plus, my mom drove me anywhere. Call me a spoiled kid, yeah. Basically, that's what I was. My mom drove us everywhere. So I'm just like, okay, well, I'm about to learn how to do this. So, yeah, I remember we had planned this whole thing to meet up and I was really going to do it. And yeah, I felt bad because I did end up punking out. And I'm like, oh, I have to try another day. Like my grandma needs me, like making up lies. But really, I was just scared because I never caught the bus for myself. I didn't want to get lost. And yeah, so I just never met up with my boyfriend this day. But y'all, I remember I was talking to the other guy. Remember I told you I was talking to my boyfriend and then I was talking to the cute little light skin. We're going to call him light skin. So we got my boyfriend and we got light skin. And light skin, he was so cute. And he was like, you know what? I'm going to meet you out there on the south side at the park. And I was just like, okay, cool. Meet at the park. So I go, and you know, the park is easy. You just got to walk down the street. So I'm walking however many blocks down the street, meet up with him. And I'm nervous, y'all. I'm nervous because it's my first time meeting him in person. He don't know what I look like. A part of me is just like, oh my God, like, is he gonna think I look good? And you know, you just be self-cautious. You don't know. So I meet up with him. He's real cool. We're sitting there, we're talking all day. We're just walking around. We're having a good time. And then like later on in the night, we go back to the park and we're just sitting on the slide and stuff. And you know, we're just talking, being teenagers, whatever. And then, y'all, like, I just remember, you know how at parks, they got the little tunnel, like the little tunnel thing. So we're in the tunnel and we're just laying in there, y'all. I don't know why. Kids is weird. But we're just laying in there and we're talking. And I remember we started kissing and all that good stuff. And one thing led to another. And I was super nervous because I knew at this point I was about to do it vaginally. Y'all, swear, vaginally. So now I'm just like, okay, this is about to happen. Like, okay, so I'm nervous. So I go ahead, I let him do it, and it hurt a little bit at first, but then it started to feel good, how people said it was supposed to feel. But I'm not gonna lie, I was nervous because we're outside, which is like, dang girl, you just love doing stuff outside, huh? But yeah, we're outside. I'm just like, oh my God, like I'm so nervous. But, you know, he did his thing and I was just like, oh my God, like I'm really doing this. Like, I don't know, you know, just if you're a woman, you just know what type of the shit be going through our heads. So he just, you know, we're doing the do. And then he's done. I'm just like, oh my God, like I actually lost my virginity. I mean, it was at a park and the tunnels, but I lost my virginity. And a part of me was just like, dang girl, you know you got a boyfriend, right? How you gonna lose it to light skin and you ain't even lose it to your boyfriend? So I'm not gonna lie, I felt bad. I felt bad, but then I was just like, I mean, oh well, how my boyfriend gonna know? He ain't. So yeah. So for the next couple days, I started hanging out with light skin every day. Like he was coming down to see me every day. We was just walking up and down the south side, chilling at the park. I remember the one day we went into the pool. And then there was this one night where my grandma, she had went to bingo. And she told me she wasn't going to be back till later because she went to bingo. My poor little Red Riding Hood innocence. But she went to bingo and my cousin was at work. So I was just like, light skin, you can come over for a little bit. And he came over. And it's so crazy because I had told my cousin about what happened at the park. And she was just like, oh my God, like, why would you do that? Why'd you do it at the park? And I'm just like, I know, cousin, but oh well, it is what it is. And she was just like, don't do it there at the park because, you know, it's, oh my gosh, y'all, I'm sorry. She was like, don't do it outside or at the park because it's, you know, it's not clean, it's not sanitary, which I knew that, but I guess I wasn't thinking. And she was like, you need to be careful. And she was like, did you bleed? And I was just like, bleed? And she was like, yeah, did you bleed? I was like, no. She was just like, okay, like, no. And I was just like, okay. Like, y'all, my cousin was cool, but at the same time, it's like she's trying to be a big cousin. Like, don't do this, but at the same time, not. She's not telling me what not to do. She's not telling me what not to do. Or no, she's not telling me what to do. There we go. She's not telling me what to do at the same time. Like, she's going to let me make my own decisions. So I had invited him over. I was like, okay, you can just come over and we'll do it in the bed. So he came over and oh my God, y'all, I was so nervous. I was more nervous than when we were outside. Crazy. Because at that point, I was just like, you know what? I'm going to consider this time my first time. For real. Because we can get more comfortable and actually like relax and not worry about like people catching us or something. You know what I mean? So I considered this time my first time. But y'all tell me which time was my first time. Y'all let me know. So he comes in and, you know, I'm just like, hey, you know, it's my grandma's house, whatever. So we go to the back room and we're just chilling on the bed and whatnot. And we're just watching TV, whatever we're doing, and we're talking. And then, of course, one thing leads to another again. And I remember he like gets on top of me. I'll spare y'all all the details, but basically, you know, he puts it in. And like I said, it hurts in the beginning, but then it felt good. And then I just felt super relaxed. And I think it's because it was in an environment that I felt safe in. It was warm. It was in a bed. And it was with light skin, which I've already done it with light skin before. And I don't know, I just felt nervous to comfortable. So I was doing it with him and yeah, that time was good. If I would consider any time being my first time, I would love for it to be that time. But of course, that would be untrue if I didn't tell you about the other times. So yeah, like that part was good. Once we were done, we was chilling, we was watching TV until it was time for like my grandma to come back, and I was like, all right, you gotta go. And then yeah, so I waited for my cousin to get off of work, and when she got back, I told her what happened, everything, and she was, you know, like, how was it? And I told her and all that good stuff. So that happened, and she asked me if I bled. I told her I still didn't bleed. Like, you ladies, when you lost your virginity, did you guys bleed? Like, I feel like I never bled, or maybe I didn't notice, or maybe we was too young to be having intercourse and it wasn't big enough for me to bleed. I don't know. Can y'all tell me? Because I've never bled. Ever. I don't know. So yeah, well, I don't want to say ever, but when I was young in the beginning, I just never, I never bled. So I'm just curious to know if anybody else has ever bled either. But yeah, so that happened. And cool. So mind y'all, don't forget, I still have a boyfriend. I've never even met this man, but I still have a quote-unquote boyfriend. And I finally muster up the courage to go see this man. Okay? I muster up the courage to go see this man. And, yeah, I was nervous as hell. I was nervous. I remember it was late. It was like 8:30. So it was starting to get dark because it's the summertime and it don't get dark till now. So it was like 8:30. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm about to catch the bus out there. And my cousin told me, she was like, don't go. And I still went anyway, because I'm just like, dang, I still got to figure out how to get back home. And I really went anyway. So I went and I met him out there. And it was still kind of light outside once I got out there. Because I remember once we got off the bus, he met me at the bus stop. And we went to the park that was like right where he was at. So we're at the park and we're chilling. And y'all, why do we end up doing it? At the park again, under the freaking like slide. What's wrong with me? See, I be too honest with y'all, but I'm just being real. Like, I'm not gonna hold y'all. I'm not this person no more, but it's crazy the things I was doing out here just to be like my so-called friends, to fit in. And fit into what? Being a fast tail? Like, y'all, do not do this. I'm telling y'all, do not do this. So, and I just, of course, I didn't know my worth, obviously. So, yeah. So we do it under the slide, of course. At this point, like, I'm experienced. It's like, no, let me stop. I really wasn't. And it was so crazy because we do it at the park, and it was so wild because I just remember there being like rocks and stuff. And I just like pushed them off of me because, y'all, why did it start to rain? It started to rain and he kept still wanting to do it. And I just like pushed him off to me like, it's raining. It's like getting wet. It was too much, way too much. So anyway, we ended up just like sitting under where there was, what do you call it? Our roof or whatever. So we're like sitting under there and we're just talking and we're chilling for a little while longer because I didn't want to be back too late. And then my grandma be like, where's Annie? So I go and I'm like, all right, well, look up the bus schedule and let me know what bus I got to get back on so I can get back home or whatever. And I remember him wanting me to stay longer and come spend a night with him. But I was just like, I cannot do that, honey. That would never be happening. Like, not with me. I'll have to be grown. Literally, I got to be grown to do that. So he sits with me at the bus stop for a while. And we did all this after it stopped raining. Because I'm like, I'm not walking in this rain. Excuse me. So it stopped raining. And he was like, oh, the bus come at this time. So it was cool because we had to wait for the bus anyway. So we wasn't in the rain. The rain ended up stopping. We go to the bus stop. He puts me on the bus. We kiss each other goodbye. And yeah. Now, yeah, this is crazy because, of course, and this is no protection. Not whatchamacallit, having multiple partners, having two partners, days apart, which Drea, get it together. But like I said, I was young. It's like I knew, but I didn't really know. You know what I'm saying? I didn't really know, y'all. I'm gonna just be honest. So I'm doing all that. I go home, I take a shower, and yeah. I didn't tell my cousin about this one, but I don't think I needed to tell her. She knew. Because she was just like, and where the hell were you? And I'm just like, oh my God. I remember she yelled at me like, you can't do that because we was wondering where you was at. I'm like, no, I'm here. I'm sorry. You know, I just got caught up and I'm back. So I didn't really get in trouble, but my cousin was like, okay, Drea, like, you're about to have to go home because now you're doing too much. So I'm like, all right, I'm not going to do nothing else. So now, bam, here goes like a couple days later. And I'm trying to go to the pool. Yeah, I'm trying to go to the pool. Excuse me. I'm going to the pool to meet up with Light Skin again. So I got on, what did I have on? It wasn't nothing crazy, y'all. I literally had on shorts and, it was a t-shirt, but it wasn't like a baggy t-shirt. It was shorts and a t-shirt and like flip-flops. So I'm walking to, oh yeah, it was my bathing suit, which back then I used to wear like tankinis or one pieces. And I had shorts on too. And I was walking down with my flip-flops on, you know, because I'm going to the pool. So I'm walking down to the pool, and mind you, my grandmother and grandfather, other grandmother and other grandfather on my mother's side, they live on the south side as well. They just don't live on the flats. They look further deeper into the south side. So I would never really encounter them unless they're on the main streets. So of course, when I'm walking down the sidewalk to go to the pool, that's on the main street. So I guess my granddad was walking the one day and he saw me walking, and I'm walking to the pool. I got my bathing suit on and I have my shorts on, and he sees me walking to the pool, and I remember he hunks at me and I wave or whatever. And I kept it pushing. Like, hey, granddad, like, what's up? So I keep it pushing and I'm walking to the pool. I'm going to the pool. Cool. And then next thing you know, like I'm at the pool for like 10 minutes, y'all. I get a phone call from my cousin. My cousin like, Annie, where you at? Because at this point, she's at work. She's like, Annie, where you at? I said, I'm at the pool. She was like, oh, okay, come back right now. Your mom is on her way. And I was just like, oh, why is my mom on her way? Because my mom didn't even call me or nothing. So I'm like, oh, my mom's on her way. Why is she on her way? She was like, I don't know, but you need to come back right now. Come get this key from me because your mom's on her way. So I'm like, all right. So I go and walk to my cousin's job, get the key, and I go and open the door. Because I was literally just going to be at the pool out with light skin all day until my cousin got off work. And yeah, I would say that didn't happen. So I got to the house. My grandma don't, well, my grandma was there, but she don't really be getting up all like that, which is why my cousin said, come get the key. And so she didn't have to like, spend all her time getting up trying to open the door for me. So I went in there and my grandma was just like, oh, hey, Annie. I'm like, hey. I was like, my mom said she's on her way. And she was like, oh, you leaving? And I'm just like, yeah, I guess I'm about to leave. My mom's coming. So my cousin ended up calling me again. She was like, yeah, your mom's pissed. She's pick you up right now. I guess your granddad seen you walking down East Carson. And I'm just like, okay. She was like, yeah, I don't know. She's mad, but she's coming to get you. So I'm like, all right. So I started getting my stuff together. My mom ended up coming to get me, but she don't get me till like hours later. I remember she got me late at night, like not late at night. It had to be like 9 or 10 because I don't know what she was doing, but I just remember she didn't get me till later. So she picks me up and we go to my grandma's house. She's in the car talking to me like, yeah, seeing you walking down East Carson Street with booty shorts on and a bathing suit, walking down East Carson by yourself. And I was just like, booty shorts? I'm like, Mom, they're just regular shorts. And I show her the shorts. And men, especially old men, sorry, grandfathers. But when they see their daughters or granddaughters dressed a certain way, they always assume like she's being sexual and so it was like, I feel like it was that type of thing. So my granddad told my mom like, yeah, she was walking down East Carson with booty shorts and a bathing suit on. And I'm like, dang, like, first of all, I had a tankini, which I guess a tankini is like, it basically comes down. I guess you could say it was like a crop top, but I don't know. It was a bathing suit, y'all, and I had shorts on. But I wouldn't say they were booty shorts because my mom didn't even let me buy stuff like that because I always had a bigger I always had a bigger booty. So she didn't even let me buy stuff like that. Like, if y'all ever had pants or shorts that had the wording on the butt, she never even let me buy stuff like that because she said it just draws too much attention for people to look at my bum. So she never even let me buy certain stuff like that. So when my granddad said that, I'm like, dang, you're being weird. But it was like so much pressure on me because I knew I was doing wrong. I just felt like I was in so much trouble, y'all. So much trouble. So my mom was like, what were you down there doing? Like, why was you going down there dressed like that? I was like, I was going down there to the pool. And she was like, by yourself? Why wasn't you down there with your cousin? Why'd you go by yourself? I'm like, well, my cousin, she had work. So I just went down by myself. I was just going. She's like, no, you was down there meeting some boy. I know you was down there meeting some boy. Everything was always about some boy. And you know what? She's right. Because everything always was about some boy. Y'all. So now I'm just like, okay, Mom. I was like, I have to tell you something. And she was just like, okay. So I'm sitting down, like, say I'm sitting down in this chair. I remember we was in my grandma's den. I was sitting in this chair. On this side of the chair, there's a day bed. On this side of the chair, it's my grandma's, like, office chair and, like, her computer desk and all that. So my grandma's sitting in the office chair, and my mom is sitting on a day bed. And they're both on both sides of me, and I'm sitting right here. And I'm just like, I have to tell you guys something. And then my mom was like, what? And then here go me. I was just like, I'm sexually active. And my mom was like, what did you say? And my grandma was like, she said she's sexually active. As soon as my grandma said it like that, oh my gosh. My heart dropped, y'all. My heart dropped. I was so scared. I was literally looking down like this because I was so nervous as to what my mother was about to say next. So now she's sitting there. She was like, but what do you mean? Like, explain, like, the things you've done. So now I'm just like, no, they're not about to do this to me. I should have never said nothing. So now I'm sitting there telling them, like, oh, I did this and that, and I did this on the ground. And my mom was like, is that why your back been hurting? Is that why you got that scrape on your back and your back been hurting? And I was just like, yes, ma'am. Like, oh my God, I was so scared. I thought, oh my God. I was so scared. Like, I was trying to do the right thing by telling my mom that I was sexually active, but at the same time, like, it was probably the worst thing I could have ever done in my life. I'm like, oh, would you? I wish I would never told her. I wish I would never told her. But yeah, so I tell her, so y'all think about it, it's gonna be PTSD a little bit. But she's like, all right, well, come on, let's go. And I'm like, what? I was like, we going home? She's like, nope, come on, let's go. We're going to the hospital. And I'm just like, oh my God, we're going to the hospital. Like, y'all, I was just like, okay. So we leave my grandma's house and I'm in a car with my mom and I'm just so scared. My heart is beating. I feel like I have to pee and poop on myself all at once. Like, just everything. And then every time she look at me, I feel like I have to throw up. Like, oh, it was terrible. It was the worst feeling ever. Oh my gosh. So we pull up to the emergency room and I remember sitting there. It took forever. And at this point, it's like midnight, y'all. I'm not even gonna hold you. It's like midnight at this point. I am tired. I just want to go home. I'm trying to keep back from crying. And it was such like a terrible experience. Yeah, I'm not gonna hold you. It was a terrible experience. So I went to the hospital and I'm like the only teenager in there. Everybody else was like adults in there. So as we're sitting in the waiting room, there was a nurse that comes up to me and she's so nice. She's like, oh my gosh. She was like, hey, I know it's so late. She was like, what are you here for? All loud as hell. In the waiting room, like, what are you here for? So I'm looking down like this and I look up and I'm like, a pregnancy test? And she was just like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. She was just like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, yeah, I hate when people do that. Like, always, why would you even ask that loud anyway? All of my business. You know, you got everybody else in the waiting room, all of my business. Y'all, I was even more embarrassed. I feel like my mom should have stepped in and been like, don't worry about it. Like, it's for the doctor to know. Like, I don't know. But I was just so embarrassed. But she was like, I'm so sorry. And she just like walked away. I'm just like, oh, this night literally cannot get any worse. Any worse. So now they end up calling me back to the room. And of course, at this point, they asked you like, do you want your mom in the room? And yo, I did not. I did not want my mom in the room. But the death stare she gave me, I was just like, yeah, she can come in the room. That's fine. So, of course, it's just so uncomfortable because they're asking me all these questions. They're asking me about how many partners I have and this and that. And, of course, I'm like, one. Just one. Lying my ass off. Y'all, I was so scared. I hope y'all never have to experience that. You know, I really do because let me tell you, I've never been so scared in my life. Never been so scared in my life. My mom scares me. But no, so basically they gave me like all these STD testing. They asked me if I wanted to be on birth control. And my mom was just like, you don't need to be on birth control, do you? And I'm just like, me? No, I don't need to be on birth control. I'm not going to have sex ever again, ever in my life. No, I don't do it on birth control. And my mom was just like, yeah, no, she's good. She doesn't need birth control. So the doctor's just like, okay, that's fine. No, you need to be on birth control. That's okay. You know, it's just in case if you ever want to do anything, you'll be protected. And my mom was just looking at me like, no, she's not going to be doing none of that. So I'm just like, oh my God. Oh my God, like I just need to get out of here. I'm so uncomfortable. Y'all, I'm so uncomfortable. So then, of course, we get home. Sis take my phone. Oh, no. She didn't take my phone. Y'all, she didn't take my phone, which is crazy. I would have thought she did. She didn't take my phone, but she did tell me, you're not allowed to talk to any boys. Don't be talking to none of those boys. If I found out you're talking to any of these boys, planning anything, going anywhere, anything with any of these boys, I'm taking your phone. So I'm like, all right, cool. So, you know, what any teenager would do. You change all the boys' names in your phone to girls' names. It's like, no, y'all, don't do that. So, you know, I still have my boyfriend, you know, and he doesn't know what's going on. Light skin don't know what's going on, but I just basically told him we're not finna talk no more, basically, because there was just no point. I had to tell him a little bit what's going on because, like I said, I was already at the pool with him for like 10 minutes before I had to leave. So, of course, he's like, what's going on type thing. So I kind of told him what was going on, and we kind of just took a step back from each other. But I still had my boyfriend, and I changed his name in my phone to a girl's name. And everything was cool. You know, we were still talking. Of course, we were still talking sexual as well. And just one random day, my mom decides to just take my phone and go through it. No privacy. Dang. But no, she decided to take my phone and go through it. And she found out that I changed the guy's number or name to a girl's name. And I guess she could tell that out just how the way we were texting and whatnot. So she took my phone in the beginning of my 9th grade year, y'all. I was only like a month and a half into my 9th grade year. And yeah, I have no phone. I wasn't allowed to really do nothing. I'm like, oh, what a great way to start off my freshman year of high school. At this point, I had a major glow up. I ain't even gonna hold you. I had a whole glow up. I don't know what it was. I think it was walking back and forth all summer on the Carson, on the main road, on the sidewalks all that summer. I kind of slimmed down some. My body was really shapely. Like, I'm gonna lie, I came to high school and I was looking good. I ain't gonna hold you. So I didn't have no phone. So of course I had to come up with creative ways to talk to guys in my school, because now I'm looking at all the guys like, wow, look at these grown men in here. Because, you know, you're in 9th grade, you're 14, but you go to school with 18-year-olds, which is a grown man. It's just like, oh my God, she has a beard. So yeah, everybody was just looking good to me, especially all the boys on the football team. I don't know why. They just, niggas who play sports, man. But yeah, so it was just like a whole new ball game then. So I had to get creative. I had like the iPod Touch, and you were able to like to download the SMS messages. I would do it like that, like the text free, text now, whatever messages. And I would be talking to people through on the house phone, but I would like silence the one downstairs. That way when people call me upstairs, man, I had to do a lot. Talk to these guys, y'all. I ain't gonna hold you. I was boy crazy. But I will say, after I had went to the hospital, I had to get all that STD testing, by the grace of God, thank you, Jesus, I didn't have any STDs or anything like that. I wasn't pregnant and nothing. So God was really watching out for me. He was, thank you, Jesus. So after that, I didn't have any sexual intercourse for like that whole 9th grade year until I had got my first real boyfriend, quote unquote. And I say quote unquote because I technically wasn't allowed to have a boyfriend. But yeah, I wasn't sexually active after that anymore. My mom instilled the fear within me. I could think about guys, but I wasn't allowed to think about that. Yeah. But you know what? I'm not mad about it. Like, people parent, or, you know, parents, they parent the best way they know how. And, you know, all you got to do is learn from it and make changes with your own child. You know what I mean? Like, my mom was an excellent mother, and I can only imagine having 3 daughters and trying to raise them in a way where none of them are going to get pregnant, raise them in a way where none of us have a male figure around, and raise them in a way where she's there but really can't be there because she has to work 2 jobs. So I feel so sorry, Mom. I gave you hell. Which, by the way, if you have yet to watch that series, Giving My Mom Hell series, go ahead and check those videos out. When I tell you I was giving my mom hell, I gave her hell. And I'm praying to God my daughter is not like this, because I don't think I can handle it. Like, my mom handled it very, very well, but I don't know if I can handle it. So, baby girl, please don't do that. But I'm very open with my child. I will say that. And like I said, she's only 4 years old, but she does come to me about everything. She talks to me about every situation. So don't think you're going to say something to her and she's going to keep it from me, because she tell me everything. All right, period. So, you know, mothers, if you're trying to figure out how to raise your daughters, just always keep an open mind. You know, watch how you react, because that can make them no longer want to come to you about things. Because I will say that happened to me after the reaction my mother and grandma had when I told them I lost my virginity and I was sexually active. That reaction scared me so much that I didn't tell my mom anything else after that. I was too scared to tell her anything else, because I just did not know how she was going to react, or I felt as though she was going to react negative, or like just in a mad, angry way. So I just like never talked to her about things going on in my life after that. So I'm really trying to prevent that with my child. Like I said, my mom was amazing. She was the best mother I could ever wish for. I'm gonna tell you, she was so nice, beautiful, spirited. She's really wonderful. But listen, nobody is perfect, period. Nobody is perfect. But I love my mother so dearly. Mom, trust me, you did a wonderful job with all of your daughters. I swear, you definitely did. But anyway, guys, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, remember, I am going to have this outfit on tomorrow in my second, you know, Vlogtober video. All right, so don't be like, she had that on yesterday. Yes, I know. I'm going to have it on for today, tomorrow, and a day after that. All right. Anyway, guys, once again, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know how you like this video, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.